Hey guys, what's going on? So someone asked me about blitzing and sim blitzing and kind of trying to get the most points with blitz. So I'm basically going to do like an introduction to blitz video type thing. So if a lot of this stuff I'm saying seems redundant, sorry about that. But again, it's kind of more of an introduction preliminary thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to do Red Star Rampage. So as you can see, it's only 4 to 7 stars, but we're going to do I'll do a quick rotation. And a rotation is just a full-on going through your whole roster, your whole save squads, trying to get points. So that's a rotation. So if I say rotation, that's what I mean. And as you can see, I have a lot of people order their blitz teams in different orders. Some people go based off team power, so that they would go the strongest to the lowest. I do it based on what I believe are the best teams in the game. Honestly, this team's really not that good, but they are a decent team if you have someone other than Spider-Man in there. But yeah, basically the order that I'm going in is the chance and likelihood that they'll win. And like some of these teams, I mean, it's not perfect because AIM can sometimes beat Mercenary and Blitz. There's really no science to it, but it is what it is. Here's our Astonishing X-Men. The reason I have Storm in there and not Bishop is because I simply just don't have Bishop unlocked. But yeah, as you can see, this is probably my last realistic team of Guardians. So then we have a random Ultron team with 2 really high characters, and then I have Black Panther in there as well, and Kingpin just because they're leveled up. Here's Kree. It's a mix between Minion and Ultimus Kree team. Here's Shadow Defenders, which is Shadowland and the Defenders Hand. Some random Sinister Six team, the remaining Sinister Six with other good characters. This team actually wins a lot. It's Ravagers with X Factor, and then this team always loses for me, but I will say they do. It's a good way to start off. So essentially, if this was a brand new blitz, what I typically do is I start from the back and then go to the front. So, you know, this is team 30, so then I go 29, 28, 27, all the way up to 1. But since this is not it, what I like to do is I like to go from, my first rotation will go from the top team to the bottom team, and then the bottom team back to the top, because this multiplier will be mixed up. And I want to get the most that I can from multiplier. Also, you get more points based off your total team power. So again, this is my highest team, so we're almost at 100,000. And so as you can see with this team, they can pretty much beat anyone. So I will just fight Symbiotes because they really should win, especially on Blitz Sim. There's no difference between regular blitzing and blitz simming on points. Just basically the only time that there's a difference if there's an event and they specifically call that out, and that's just for specific points. But at the end of the day, Blitz Sim is probably the best thing to do. So we'll just go ahead and do a rotation real quick. So this team should beat basically anyone, so I'm going to go for the highest as I can see. I try to just avoid mirror matches the best you can, and over time you'll learn which team is the best. So obviously they can beat that team, they can beat that team, they can beat this team, so we'll just go for the highest points. And then once we start descending down, you'll see when we start to lose. So Marauders, I don't want to risk it, so I'd rather not fight them. And then this is like a skill. They should win this. But who knows? Say they lost it. There's no real explanation for that. I know a lot of people do this show stats section as well, which is important to look at because some characters, you know, if you're facing a higher if you're facing a Marauders team with a higher Sabretooth over a Mr. Sinister, then that's probably a good team to go against. But I just like to do it this way just because it feels a little bit quicker. So they should win this team, win against this team. Symbiotes should win. Pretty much whoever, they should definitely win this. And then, so yeah, basically we'll just keep going through. This is a no-brainer with hand. And sometimes, not all the times, but if it's if I'm really on like my last rotation, so for example, Bishop, for Iceman I was in the 1%, for Bishop I was in the 2 to 3% because I was off by like about 300,000 points from getting him at 100%. So I should have taken more time and care with who I was going up against. See, this, I bet you if you autoed this and didn't sim it, they would win. So again, I still, even with those losses, I think it's better just to sim. But yeah, that's basically how I do it. So yeah, we'll just go through this rotation. As you can see, you gotta look for characters that aren't very good, that are bottom tier characters. Yondu's bottom tier, Drax is bottom tier. I mean, not full on bottom, but like you know, obviously Hand is like one of the worst teams. Ravagers is one of the worst teams. So you want to look for characters like that. This should win easily. And then here's Pimtech. So yeah, basically any hodgepodge team as well you want to face. So this team sometimes wins, sometimes loses for me. It's hard to tell. I don't know why that just fell. There's a ghost. So they won that. Sometimes they'll lose against the defenders just because there's a Punisher. And I really don't know the science or the math behind Blitz Sim, but yeah. So I see. So there's a Ravager, Bruiser, or Boomer, and there's a Mr. Sinister. So let's see. Let's look at the stats. So as you can see, their Minerva's the highest. Let's just go with this team because they really should win. So again, we're still in the 4 times multiplier. And then I have Blitz Charges to use as well, and I'll talk about that. So, like I said, I have mine in the order of what I believe is the best team to the worst team, or to the worst of my teams. So, yeah, pretty much we'll just keep on going through. Defenders is kind of a no-brainer to go against, except sometimes they lose. So, I mean, it's just sometimes you can't believe that they lost to a team or whatnot, but really it doesn't matter. You're gonna take losses, and again, it depends. Obviously, the better the teams, and the more higher up they are, the better you will do in Blitz. They should win this, but sometimes Punisher, yeah, I should start taking note of all that stuff, just because I don't think anyone is doing that, of what teams beat what. So see, now we're starting to lose just because we are at the bottom tier of all this. See, so this team should win for the most part. Anything with Ultron wins. This team might win. So I don't like any of these teams, so what I'll do is I'll skip this. This team is probably going to lose either way, so let's just do this, and then maybe we can get a win with that Kree team. They should win. When I blitzed earlier, this team beat them. But typically, you do, if you're going really hard on Blitz, you want to do a full 8 rotations, which is possible. You just got to wait every 2 hours. And, oh wow, I cannot believe they won that. They typically lose. And then sometimes people space it with their worst team. So this team might actually win just because X Factor is so good. Let's see. Do they win this? Yes, they do. And then finally, here's our last team. And they could win it, but I doubt they will. They won't. There's there's no real science to it. All right, so let's talk about Blitz Charges. So what I like to do is typically I like to use one of my weaker top tier teams. So for example, in my top 6, it looks like Sinister 6 is my weaker one. So let's try and get back up to that 4 times multiplier with this team the best we can. So let's just take it easy. Let's go with this one. So there's a win. And then again, like, this is just Blitz Charges, just trying to get back up. So how we ended off with that Luke Cage team, that Kree team that won at the end. The next time I'll Blitz, I'll go from that team and go back up, because by the time I hit team 6, I should be back at that 4 times multiplier. Maybe I'm at tier 7, but they should win this. Let's see. And it obviously helps the closer that your team is. If we look at this team, as you can see, my Doc Ock is leagues ahead of these other guys. But again, you're facing teams with similar power. All right, so let's just get up to 4 times multiplier. Then we'll go to Black Order and try and get as much points as possible. And we are almost there. And you guys should beat this. Let's do this team, because you guys shouldn't beat that. So obviously, the better the team, it's more risky. For them, I really just kind of look for the highest points that we'll get, unless it's a Black Order team. So it looks like this team as well. And honestly, I get a lot of luck where the higher team ends up being an easier team. This team, not for example, is not, because Asgardian is pretty decent, but they're not Black Order good. There we go, and that's it for them. So next up, my next strongest team is Symbiotes. So I'm going to try and get them to get as many wins as possible. And here's Defenders. See, I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. But that's just kind of what happens with Blitzing. Again, I think you're just better off just doing that, just because you get through blitzing so much quicker. Here's Wakandans, and then finally we got a few more. All right, so next up, I believe on my power is probably Marauders. Yeah, let's go Marauders, and we might be bouncing back between Inhumans and Marauders, just depending on the teams that we're facing. So we'll fight this team, and let's go for this team. All right, so today I've only done, we got one more attack as well. So today I've only done, I think I've only done 6 rotations, so I missed out on 2. It's about the end of the day, but for these Red Star Blitz, I just really try to get 7 million for this. I don't care. But typically, like this week, Iceman's coming out for his second blitz. I'll be going as hard as I can, so I'll be doing 8 rotations. And I'll probably be done around 4 hours before the next the server resets. And so right at 7, which is where my server resets, is when I would start going again, trying to get as many points as possible. So basically, yeah. So what I do, again, just to reiterate, is when a blitz starts, I'll start with this team and then climb back. And then when the next rotation is up, which I set a timer for 2 hours, I start with this team and then go all the way down, go all the way through. Again, this team loses, but you know, sometimes they win, so I still just do them. And then once I go all the way down to here, then I come back and go all the way back up when the next rotation is available. I typically like to use my Blitz Charges on my last rotation of the day. You can also tell if you're on your last rotation. I can't do it now, but typically it'll say, you know, like I said, I'm 4 hours before the server resets, so it'll say on all of them, basically it'll be like 3 hours and 56 minutes, and it'll be in gold as opposed to silver. But yeah, kind of a boring video, but maybe you learned something. Let me know if you think I'm blitzing wrong, because I would love to up my scores as well. Let's see, I don't know if the Bishop Blitz is available, but we can see where I landed at. And this was a full 8 rotations. I will say it was Valentine's Day weekend, so I did not go as hard as possible, but I ended up in the top 5,000. Again, I think probably the 1% was about 36.5. I don't know that for sure, but yeah, that's where I ended up. I did 8 rotations each day. Just Valentine's Day, I kind of just did it like as quickly as possible, not really looking at the teams and stuff, just trying to get it done. But yeah, again, let me know if you think I'm blitzing wrong. Let me know if you found this helpful. Again, it was a beginner's guide to blitz for the most part. I hope it was helpful to you guys. Try and make, you know, the stronger your teams are, the more points that they can earn. So you obviously want to have the better teams be more leveled up than the worst teams. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. On this channel, I do guides, I do orb openings, and I do streams. I do all sorts of other Marvel Strike Force stuff, so make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead and follow me on Twitch, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.